was always the Jags.
It's always the Jags. It's always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
Welcome to Always the Jags. You heard it here first. This is where we talk everything Duval, everything NFL. And today I'm going to talk about the Jaguars schedule prediction. After the schedules came out, you can go online to Schedule Predictor and see exactly what games you think your team is going to win. So I'm going to go through Jaguars, every single game they have, and why I think they will win or why I think they will lose. Week 1 versus the Colts. We're at the Colts. This is going to be a win. Sorry, Anthony Richardson, as great as he was at the Combine, he is not going to be ready for Week 1. I love Gardner Minshew when he was here and he was doing well, but he does not scare me as the Colts quarterback. Colts still haven't figured out how to replace their top cover man in Stephon Gilmore, and Yannick Ngakoue is still out there waiting to be signed. So maybe not an easy win as some people are thinking, maybe not as easy, but rookie quarterback, backup quarterback, top cornerback gone, top pass rusher gone. This is a win for the Jaguars. Week 2 going versus the Chiefs. Unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes is still a football god, and until someone proves why we should not believe in him or worship him, he will probably crush the Jaguars. While Calvin Ridley is still trying to get into the offense, that's going to take a little bit of time. We're not going to be able to keep up with Mahomes. However, once we get towards the end of the season, and Trevor and Calvin have spent most of the season in Doug Peterson's system, I do actually like our chances to potentially beat them in the playoffs. Say that again, I do like our chances. If we meet them again in the playoffs, I think we could get the win. But for right now, this is going to be a loss, so the Jaguars are officially 1-1. Week 3 versus the Texans. Again, CJ Stroud, great kid, probably going to be a great quarterback. Wish he didn't go to one of my most hated franchises, for the Texans being a division rival, but he will not be ready by week 3. These guys are going to take a lot of losses. The Texans' best receiver is still Robert Woods, who was barely the Titans' best receiver last year. So this is going to be a loss for the Texans. Jaguars are now 2-1. In week 4, we're going to play the Falcons up in London. I have this one as a win. Desmond Ridder might be really good, or he might not. We don't really know for sure, but I just know the Jaguars have a proven thing in Trevor Lawrence. We're going to be in London, which is our home stadium, so we have the advantage there. I know Calais Campbell believes in the Falcons and the things that they can do, and I really wish that the Jaguars had signed him, because he could have really taught Trayvon Walker how to rush the passer. However, just because they have Calais Campbell doesn't mean they're going to beat us. Sorry. So that is another win. Jaguars are cruising at 3-1. Now we're in week 5 versus the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people will probably be surprised by this one. I have us winning. Reason why? We've been in London for a week. I think that's going to be an advantage. We've got that crowd on our side. The way the Bengals completely stomped Buffalo, I think Doug Peterson is going to analyze that and use it to try and get the win. If we double Stephon Diggs with Darius Williams and maybe Andre Sisco, Tyson Campbell can just erase Gabe Davis. The only weapon that Josh Allen has is Dalton Kincaid, who's still a rookie. So I think if we win here, it'll actually push Buffalo to go get another weapon like DeAndre Hopkins. And again, I think the Jaguars are destined to beat one of the elite teams. Buffalo may or may not be it, but we play the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills. One of those elite teams I feel like we're just going to beat, because that's just kind of the way it goes. We're going to be that trap game for them. Next, in week 6, we have the Colts again. And, it's hard to sweep a division opponent, but when that division opponent is going to be trotting out a rookie quarterback in week 1, and by week 6, they're going to be playing at your stadium, where the Colts do not win in Everbank, no matter how good they were, no matter how terrible we were, even in our worst years. We didn't lose at Everbank since 2014 against the Colts. That's not going to change this year. Another win for the Jaguars. We are 5-1. We go to week 7 at the Saints. Like I said, we're 5-1, feeling really good, but this is where we take our second loss. I think the Saints are better than a lot of people think. I don't necessarily think they're better than us. I just think playing in the Big Easy is not easy, and I think it's going to end up being a trap game for us, because I think Derek Carr still has skill, and like I said, we beat him last year. We might underestimate him, and that defense can probably give Trevor Lawrence fits, I'm not going to lie. So I think this is that trap game where we're supposed to win on paper, but we end up losing on a Thursday night. In week 8, I think we bounce back in a big way against the Steelers. Kenny Pickett is not Trevor Lawrence. If you're going to pick them straight up, Jaguars win. Again, the Steelers have a nasty defense, and it could be scary, but I'm going to give it to the nod with a quarterback with more experience. Now we got the Week 9 bye week coming back into Week 10 versus the 49ers. 49ers are just monsters, man. I don't see it. We're going to take a loss here. Honestly, I'm more scared of Brock Purdy than I am of Trey Lance. If the 49ers are starting Trey Lance for whatever reason, I might even change this to a win, because Trey Lance is, remember, he lost to the Bears last year and they had the number 1 overall pick. So I'm definitely more scared of Brock Purdy than I am of Trey Lance. But we get back into the win column against the Titans in Week 11. Facing Mike Vrabel is tough, and it's scary because he's such a good coach. However, the rest of the Titans roster is not. And Derrick Henry may not even be on the team by then, because they might have shipped him off mid-season because the trade deadline has passed. So I feel pretty comfortable taking the win against the Titans, especially what we did to them last year. Week 12 against the Texans. This one is probably the biggest trap game that we have, because now CJ Stroud will have, a good portion of the season under his belt. Maybe he'll be feeling himself. Maybe the Texans have got a couple of wins, and we'll be playing at the Texans home stadium. And we split the season last year, but once we figured things out, we won 31-3. Back when we were still struggling, we still only lost by one score, 13-7. And so when we dominated them 31-3, I don't really see that flipping around to where they can get the win this year. Like I said, I think this is a trap game, but if we've already lost to the Saints or the Steelers, Doug Peterson is going to make sure that we don't fall for that trap. So I would say the Saints, Steelers, or Texans, any one of those games we could lose, but I don't see us losing more than 2 of them because we're all better than them on paper. Week 13 versus the Bengals. This is going to be such a fantastic game. I'm so glad we got primetime games on Monday night. This is going to be so exciting. However, we're going to lose because the Bengals they're just crazy. They're just crazy. Like I said, if we don't beat the Bills, don't beat the Chiefs, maybe we have a chance to beat the Bengals and take them by surprise. But the Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence rematch is still going to end with Joe Burrow 3-0 versus Trevor Lawrence, unfortunately. Week 14 against the Browns. This is another one that's kind of a trap game. I mean, the Browns really overhauled their roster, and it's really hard to point out a weakness in their roster unless you're talking about the human character of Deshaun Watson. However, I think all that noise and stuff got to his head. I mean, he started playing better at the end of the year. I just think we know him enough. He's terrorized us for a long time, but I think we're going to beat the Browns. Week 15 versus the Ravens. Here we have a Sunday night football game. Again, super exciting because we haven't played. The last time the Jaguars played primetime, I was in middle school, and I'm 25. So, it's been a minute. It's been way too long. And so, we get the win here against the Ravens. I don't think we have the Ravens number, or we always beat them every year or anything like that. They definitely got better in the offseason, but again, so did we. Oh, Ravens have receivers to keep up in a shootout. Well, now we have Calvin Ridley, and that just elevates everybody. And I would take Calvin Ridley over any of the receivers that the Ravens added, just being completely honest. Every time we play the Ravens, it's usually a huge pivotal game, a game that defines our season. In 2017 when we dominated them, that was the coming out party for our defense. In 97 and this past year when we beat them, that was when we turned the whole season around and we're thinking oh, we could actually make the playoffs. And this time we're going to win, and we're going to be thinking, oh wow, we could get the number 1 seed in the AFC. You heard it here first. Number 1 seed for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's going to happen. We have the Buccaneers, Week 16. Adam Rank picked us to lose this game. He also picked the Bears to go 12-5. So that shows you exactly what he's on. We're not losing to Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. I'm sorry. It's not like we're going to rest our starters, but no loss here. Week 17 versus the Panthers. This is another game that could almost go either way, but Bryce Young is still, young. He's going to be a rookie quarterback. And the Panthers' weapons, do you really think DJ Chark and Adam Thielen are going to be healthy for every game this year? Because I don't. Outside of that, who is he throwing to? Outside of that, whoever's he's throwing to, I think we can handle. If they're both in the game, maybe, but history tends to say that they won't be. We get the win against the Panthers. I actually picked the Panthers to make the playoffs this year because their division is not very hard. Week 18 versus the Titans. With the number 1 seed in the AFC clearly in our line of sight, Titans might be testing out Will Levis to see what they have in him before they decide to let Ryan Tannehill go. We get the win here. Sweep the Titans, sweep the Texans, sweep the Colts. All in all, I have the Jaguars going 13-4. which does seem a little crazy for a team that won, 9 games last year, and at one point last year was 2-6, and people were wondering if they were going to pick first overall again. However, when you combine a great coach, a great quarterback, and a very easy schedule, this is what you get. I mean, honestly, I picked a lot of things to go our way. Sometimes in a football game, all it really takes is for something to go your way. It may not necessarily be the better team that wins. However, even if we pick up 3 more losses or something, there's no way that we're not going to win the division. There's no way that we're not getting into the playoffs. Again, I won't be disappointed if we go 10-7, but I definitely think if we put the idea in their minds right now into those players that the number 1 seed in the AFC, 13-4, should be the goal and where you guys are headed, they can hit it. And they can do it, as Tony Baselli told us last year. So, again, that's my prediction for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me know what you think and how many games we're going to win or not win next year. As always, it was always the Jags.